And welcome back to the episode of Geek Centurions. Media Boy Eli.
It's me, Joe.
So we just come back from watching a certain movie.
Pretty big movie.
Pretty big movie
that came out this week.
Galaxy-wide big.
Yeah, it probably will make a galaxy load of money, considering the IP. But yeah. So we came back from watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie, the sequel to the Super Mario movie.
Yeah. We chose a bad day to go.
Yeah, it was very interesting. As of recording this, it was a Friday morning. We assumed, right? We'd be like,
yeah,
we have a pretty
it's a kids movie. We want to avoid the kids.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? I think we usually go out sort of early matinee sort of times because one, cheaper tickets, two, not as many people, so we can kind of be in our own thoughts a bit. Not the case here. I guess as of recording, we kind of forgot it is Good Friday, so
yeah.
There are a couple schools that let the kids out, right?
Yeah.
No school on Good Friday, right? So we had a fairly sizable audience at like 9:30 in the morning, which is I mean, it's kind of weird to take your kids out to watch the Mario movie at 9:30 in the morning, but I guess unless you have other plans,
yeah,
for the rest of the day, maybe some early Easter stuff if you want to do that, Easter egg hunting. Anyways,
yeah. So the when did the first one come out?
First one came out, I want to say, wasn't it 2024? Or was it 2023? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. It feels a lot earlier for me than it actually should be. I'll be honest. But yeah, no, we just finished watching that movie.
It was 2023 actually.
23. Wow, 3 years. Well, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah, solid, turnaround, but yeah, still, yeah.
So this is a continuation of the first movie. Honestly, a lot of people felt like the first movie was a surprise hit. It was surprisingly good. Honestly, for a lot of us, as I'm gonna say this myself included, I thought that was gonna be a lot worse considering it's statute of elimination. What are you doing? All this interesting cast and stuff, and then lo and behold, the movie came out and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked the first movie a lot.
Yeah.
Probably it's not like a cinematic masterpiece, but for what it was, like a
Could have been a
more
lot worse.
a more faithful Mario movie compared to the last one, the live action one.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is good. This is actually not as illumination-y, if that's a word, as
It is not the one it would not be using that term.
Yeah, like not as
Mm-hmm.
as generic as a lot of the other Illumination movies of the past. I mean, obviously there's good ones like Despicable Me and stuff, but other ones are just kind of like they're whatever, right? They feel like they're filler. They're like safe movies and stuff, which like that's Illumination's shtick, and not trying to bash anybody on what they like, but it's just that's always how I felt with the Illumination movie stuff. With this one though, with Super Mario Galaxy movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it's
interesting.
It's very interesting. I think I remember hearing a lot of the reviews coming out before going to watch the movie, just like, oh, it's bad, like critics are bashing it. I think somebody was saying that
it's an affront to cinema itself.
Yeah, which is like, okay, this seems like one of those Martin Scorsese takes about like the MCU kind of thing.
Where it's like, you don't. I mean, why are we asking you? You don't really care about this stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, maybe it's one of those weird, like, the critics are kind of bashing it, but for the most part, it's probably an okay movie, right? And after coming out to watch this movie, it's like, yeah, I mean, it is definitely not as good as the first one. Has a lot of problems. Definitely not the worst thing I've seen in my life.
No, there's worse.
Yeah, definitely way worse animated movies or just movies in general that I've seen worse than this. But
So do you want to start with like our 1 minute thoughts on the film?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right, I'll let you start. You're already on a roll, so I'll let you go for it.
All right, so the Super Mario Galaxy movie is, I probably would say, more of the same of the last movie, except if you took a lot of the things that sort of annoyed some people from the first movie and sort of amplified it more. It is definitely disappointing considering the premise and the various stuff they take from the games, like Rosalina and her whole plot, and as well as just sort of the use of the Galaxy terminology to reference the much popular Super Mario Galaxy games. But yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, there are still some positives. The animation still looks fantastic. The music score is actually better, I think, than the first movie. Um, but yeah, just a very mangled and like fast-paced plot that just sort of continues just going and going and going and just not stopping and not giving us any time to breathe with the characters, which I think is the most important part. So,
Well, I agree. All right, and now it is my turn. So, as someone who's became a fan of the first Super Mario movie, seeing this one is kind of a disappointment. I would liken this to be more of what I expected that first one to be when it was first announced. A movie that is very much reference filled and more of something quick, easy to digest for younger audience and people who just kind of want their kids to, be quiet for a minute. Do I think it's a horrible movie? No, I do not. I do sense a lot of disappointment in certain areas and certain characterizations in here and there, but I will not say there weren't some small highlights. While they were very minimal, they were there, but not the first movie. Not very much like it. It essentially does everything that it does some right, but doesn't do everything what it needs to do to make it better. So yeah, okay. So where do we start in this conversation for the movie? Um, I guess we'll start off with Rosalina because that was the big announcement, right?
well, yeah, when it came with the announcement that the sequel was called Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? That was like, Galaxy, we're doing Galaxy. That means only one important character from those games is a very popular character,
Mm.
Rosalina, Princess Rosalina, right? Like, so it's like, oh my God, we get to see Princess Rosalina, and for what Brie Larson is the voice, which I think I was saying this after the end of the movie, like that's very good casting. Brie Larson herself is a very big Nintendo fangirl, so like it's all like full circle for her. I feel.
It's even funnier because like I think out of all the cast they've had for this movie, she's probably on the same level as like I would say Jack Black is Bowser, who's like giving it their all.
Yeah, like definitely like, oh yeah, no, they are absolutely like kind of born to play the role. Like if you were to rank the voice actors for their characters and how well they did the characters, Brie Larson, Jack Black, and friggin' Donald Glover as Yoshi are up there. I think they're the top three personally, with Charlie Day as Luigi slightly under them, and then like Chris Pratt, Anna Taylor Joy, the rest of them being like all right. But yeah, no, Rosalina, I think she's a good character in this. But one of those things of like, if you've seen the takes on Twitter, you probably know that she kind of got a little shafted in this movie, and definitely a bit disappointing considering just how cool they make her, and
Mm-hmm.
just it's just kind of one of those things of like, and, now I think about it, because Brie Larson also plays Captain Marvel in the Marvel movies. Um, she has played two blonde women that have vast cosmic powers, and gets mistreated in both franchises. So
Damn.
that's something I thought about on the ride back. I'm like, I didn't say I saved it for the podcast because I was like, oh, you know what, that's something.
That's a good joke.
Yeah, because it's like, boy, and funny enough, I feel like Brie probably cares more about this role than Captain Marvel. Not saying that she doesn't care about being Captain Marvel, right? Like,
but it's just
but
like,
considering the various backlash she got
oh
at
no, I
playing
was
the character,
not
like,
even that, not even that. I was gonna say more of like she's always been more of a Mario fan than a Marvel fan.
yeah,
Like if you gave me the reign to do like say uh like a Marvel movie or a Gundam movie, I'm like, okay, no, I mean, like, I'll do both, but like, I'm probably gonna do, I'm gonna be more excited for the Gundam movie, actually,
Right.
and stuff like that. So it only makes sense. But yeah, no, if she's not in it for that long, it's kind of sad because she does a good job of Rosalina. Like, I almost forgot it was her doing the voice, and like, she's only there for the first few minutes of the movie and the last few minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah, there's a reason why I say like I felt like this is the movie that the first one would have been, right?
Mm,
Because there's a lot more like references and trying to be like the game in a way that like kind of feels okay. That's cool. I mean,
a
yeah,
bit pandering, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and because like the whole plot is to save a princess, and that's like yeah, that's kind of what I expect the first movie to be, and now but the first one wasn't that. It was more like Peach doing some cool shit along
Well,
with Mario.
yeah, the first one was more sort of just Mario gets sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom, helps Princess Peach stop Bowser from pretty much trying to take over.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, it's a balanced storyline, right? It's not the typical like Mario has to go save the princess from the big monster kind of thing. It's more sort of like, yeah, I gotta do, you know, it's just sort of like we gotta
Yeah,
go figure out, find the superstar, make sure he doesn't get it, that sort of MacGuffin chase kind of thing. And
yeah,
it works for what it is, right? Like, you still get references in that movie too. Obviously, the whole DK subplot there,
yeah.
various other things, but it's not as,
Some of them were a little more clever than others.
yeah, it's a bit more subdued, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like that last scene where it plays off like the like a final run on the to save the princess kind of a thing, where like you have in like classic Mario, and it's fine. I like it, but it's one of those like I felt like we could have done a little more clever with this.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
immediately think of like that like at the beginning of the first one where Mario and Luigi are trying to make it to their next job, but they
yeah.
have to like they're essentially do
They're
level one.
yeah, they're sort of like platforming around like the various construction sites and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
very reminiscent of just how the game is like.
yeah,
But like you said, it's sort of subtle and then applied into like a real world scenario ish, right?
yeah.
Of well, I guess their world, right? Of like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, that's how they just travel
And
around.
there was something about like with like the fact that this is a Save the Princess movie, uh, where it's something you brought up that I didn't really think about it until we were talking about it. Is that there's no emotional stake in there.
Yeah, 'cause it's like it's more sort of like they get asked to help get rescue Rosalina, but it's like, okay, yeah, like Peach feels like she's obligated to do it because, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it, I'll help them
Hmm.
out. Like, they see me as somebody important to do, and yeah, it's just,
Yeah, because she's. I'm honestly kind of hoping if when they inevitably do the third movie, she takes more of an active role. Because like she's kind of, in my opinion, she's more of the main character than Mario is. And that's like not a dig at Mario. It's just like no, she's kind of more.
it's mainly just because I think she has the story gives her a bit more emotional stuff to do because in this one Mario like he's a sort of just a handyman kind of thing. And I know he's a plumber, right? But
Yeah.
like obviously he's helping out various other parts of
Mm.
the Mushroom Kingdom, right? He got right the whole going through the desert thing, finding Yoshi thing, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. He's doing that around the whole Mushroom Kingdom, just fixing up problems here, left, and right,
Yeah.
stuff. And he has a like he doesn't. They don't give him much of a character arc, which I think is. I mean, you could kind of maybe say that about the first one too, but that was more sort of just like he he still had a character arc. It's more like him having to believe in himself kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Because the whole plot of that movie was that him and his brother started their own business, and their dad's like, "Why'd you do that? You left a good-paying job, and now you drag your brother into this." Like, he doesn't have the confidence in him, and then it's the journey that he takes in the Mushroom Kingdom with Princess Peach, beating Bowser, all this stuff that gives him the confidence. Like, no, I got this. We got this. Best
Yeah,
brothers,
it's
we
it's
got
it's
this.
about him and his real him like finding confidence in himself, and also like trying to be there for his brother, which is like such the thing that makes them, that's the emotional like
Connection.
connection in the film that kind of grounds it. And it's, I know we're talking about emotional connection in a movie called Mario in a
Yeah,
kids movie,
but
but usually those are things that you would want in these kind of movies. That was the charm that the movie had that this one kind of is lacking, because like they reveal something in the movie that I'm like, you and I were talking about this, like, dude, what? It's right there. Just make quick changes to this movie, and it's just like, okay, you're in, you got it.
yeah, like, I'm not gonna say it because no spoilers
Yeah,
or
no
like
spoilers.
no big spoilers
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, it's one of those things of like, I think when we were talking about, like, I was like kind of like, how did we come up with a better way of putting in that sort of reveal and making it feel more impact for the characters than the writers did? And that's kind of in my brain, like, sort of like, oh my god, this is just, like, those moments for me are like when that happens after watching a movie of like, well, they couldn't they just do this, and it just makes it even, oh my god, how this is such a simple fix, how did they not see that, fix? It's
Yeah.
like, that's one of those moments where I'm like, okay, well, this movie definitely needed more time to cook in the writing department, right?
There was something you brought up when we were talking about this. Is that you saw someone make a review of it, and they said it was essentially for like YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, it was like a Twitter post or something of like, it feels like it's, made for people who watch just nothing but YouTube shorts, and like that plays into like the pacing, which you mentioned as well, of like, it just feels like we just going nonstop from one thing to another another, right? Um,
There was a moment that I literally, I we were in a theater with people and kids, and I didn't want to be rude.
yeah,
But
but
you noticed it.
I noticed your reaction to the way the scene transitions into the next scene. You're just like, what? We're not gonna sit and dwell on this moment. We're just gonna just keep going. What the, like,
Yeah,
I could see you holding back and being like, like, what?
yeah.
You want, um, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the plot itself, it's,
It's very structured weird because there's a moment, and I think there was a clip of it, so I can maybe talk about it a bit, where Mario and Luigi and Yoshi are kind of like going around helping out the kingdom, right?
yeah,
Which I was like, that's not a bad scene. I think I would like that a little earlier, like around the time they first introduced Yoshi, just to kind of build up the relationship between the three.
yeah, because it kind of just, with Yoshi, it's sort of just like they find him and he's just cool with them, and then like they're just like all buddies.
Yeah.
There's no like build up to like allowing them to trust each other and like be friends. It's just, oh yeah, I'm Yoshi, I'm your friend. Like, that's what it is in the games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you find Yoshi and he's your buddy. He's always your buddy. You don't need any build up to him being your buddy.
I will say I'm glad they didn't treat him
Like
like
a random pet kind of animal thing. He
yeah,
has his
like a
own
dog.
yeah, like he has his own personality. He's straight up a sentient being. He knows how like, they don't like understand him. Like, he tries to explain like, oh, how did you get here, Yoshi? And he goes through this whole freaking sequence, and like, it's like, I guess we'll never know, because he's just like, Yoshi's explaining it to the audience, but yet Mario and Luigi can't understand him because
All he says is
Yoshi, yeah, Yoshi, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Which, that
Thomas
is,
Gambino does a good job.
yeah, Donald Glover, man.
Like this movie isn't terrible.
No, there's definitely like bits and pieces of it where you're like, that's funny, or that's like actually,
Charming
and
likable.
or like, that's a pretty cool action sequence here and there, right?
Yeah, and something you brought up was the like less of copyrighted music.
That was, yeah, because I straight up, like, because I think one of the bigger problems I had with the first movie was just like every now and again we would just get hit with just copyrighted music, right? Like, Take On Me was there. What was it? I think there was an AC/DC song in there, right?
Probably.
The whole debate, right, that came out after the movie where like the composer Brian Tyler what was his name?
I'll look it up, but continue.
You know, he fought hard to keep the original, because in the movie, like, it plays like the superstar theme, right? Like the dun 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 orchestrated version, right? But apparently they originally wanted it to be like Jump by
Van Halen.
right? Playing in the back.
Brian Tyler.
Yeah, Brian Tyler. Yeah, that was kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like this one, like they definitely leaned more into that direction and letting the composer like make the music, which the music is good. There's a lot of good references to various Mario soundtracks. Obviously the Galaxy music sounds pretty cool. You know, like especially when they use it and like towards the end, it's like, oh yeah, that feels right. You know, like there's only like
and this
maybe.
isn't a spoiler, but because Nintendo and Illumination revealed.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we want to talk about the elephant, or dare I say the fox in the room.
Star Fox is in the movie.
Yes, Star Fox is in the movie, and he isn't just a glorified cameo of just like blinking or miss, like the Pikmin or whatever, or Rob, right?
Yeah.
This is straight up an actual character that does actual plot relevant stuff for the heroes and stuff.
Yeah.
And
they play his music.
They play a good chunk of Star Fox music, which is like that's kind of cool.
I like the sound of that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm doing the big like. Okay,
You got me.
I clap for that. But
yeah.
but yeah, the music is good, and like I said, like there's only maybe like one like copyrighted music I think I remember off the top of my head, and it was Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, no, and that was
I mean, obviously they don't do the lyrics because God, no way they're gonna
do that in a kids movie.
Yeah, it's just the the beat, right? Like you know the song or whatever, right?
And there was a moment I think you saw me going like, oh no, anything but this, anything. Not saying about Biggie, but I'm just like, oh please no copyrighted music. I thought we were gonna be done with this. Please no. I thought we learned our lesson.
Yeah, but thankfully they didn't, and that's kind of the thing where it's like clearly they learned some of their lessons from the first movie,
but they doubled down in some areas
where it's like, why? Like,
yeah.
You know, there was because the first movie was good, but like it had various faults that I feel like if you look at it and you sort of iron it out, then you can get like a pretty solid, sequel out of this. And then unfortunately, that's kind of where they fell flat was the story, which I get it. It's Mario, like the stories aren't going to be that complex or deep or whatever, but they have to make sense.
They also have to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself as much in this movie as I did the first one. Because like the first one, I felt like there was like a sense of childish glee in me when I was watching it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, like hearing Donkey Kong's theme, the DK rap, I was like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
And like them, just kind of vibing with it and all that stuff. And then obviously the final battle with Bowser with the superstar theme.
Yeah.
That felt good. Hearing Charles Martinet's
voice in as the dad and various other side characters, right?
That one, like, oh, dude, that's nice. That's good. And that kind of charm is missing in this, and we kind of knew it had to be it too, because like they're not gonna bring all that shit back. They're gonna have to do their own thing. But here it's just honestly, the pacing is the biggest issue. There was a moment I'm like, oh god, this movie's still going.
Yeah, when all this, if anything, in my brain I was like, because I knew this movie was like an hour 40 minutes long, and we're kind of like, how are we wrapping this up? Because I feel like we haven't even done enough stuff in this movie where the plot has advanced far enough, but at the same time, so much has already happened in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like it honestly feels
stops for a Yoshi moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? This feels so weird. And if you've seen the trailers, you know what scene I'm talking about too. It's the one with the baby Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
That gets this whole like a good 5-10 minutes, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so weird. And I'm just really, it's a pacing and structure issues with this movie, because everything else is pretty alright.
Yeah, definitely. And there is a plot involving Bowser and Bowser Jr.
Oh right, Bowser Jr.
Yeah,
I like Bowser Jr.
Yeah, I think Bowser Jr. is fine in this movie. Bowser's whole arc is kind of weird. Like it definitely seems like they try to set up like a redemption arc for him, but then they just kind of it feels like a bad April Fool's joke, you know, of like, oh, is he gonna be good now? Is he feeling remorse for his actions? You know, is he gonna stop his son from doing all this stuff? Like, nah, he's not gonna do that.
I'm
And it's
what
like, what's the freaking like? What? Why are you trying to make it feel like you're punking us? Like, I don't
yeah.
know. You know, it's like,
Because like honestly, if that one could have been tweaked a little bit better, because like the
cause there was a
whole
moment where I'm like, oh yeah, no, Bowser's doing this because he's totally gonna set up Mario and Luigi. Like he's setting this up, and it turns out he's not, and he's like, wait, what?
but then you throw that out the window, and it's
Like it's like, all right, if he was gonna be bad anyway by the end, then like, why not just have him be like, oh, I'm gonna pretend to be good and get their trust, and then backstab them? Like, my brain kind of just goes, are the writers just so? Do the writers know about that trope about like, oh, the bad guy is good now, but then it turns out, yes, like he was he was pretending. Like that's a trope. We don't want to do that because people are gonna see that coming from a mile
no,
away. But it's
no.
like, no, what?
Even if so, it's Bowser.
Like yeah, we know it. Bowser's a bad guy. Like he's always the bad guy in the main Mario games. Like yeah, sure they can hang out and play Mario Party and go kart racing and stuff, but like at the end of the day, he's still the bad guy. Like you're not gonna make me believe he's not doing bad guy things, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so weird.
Like if he had developed amnesia or something, then maybe I could
Oh, that's
believe
not
that.
that's even worse trope though.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, yeah, there's a lot of issues in terms of like the various plot elements and pacing and stuff. I mean, for what it's worth, I do like what they did with Fox McCloud. Like, what is his name? Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
Like, I think he does a very good job. Like, I like the idea that like I guess the Star Fox universe is like very 80s themed,
Oh yeah.
and like I mean, I,
His introduction is he tells his whole backstory, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I would totally watch this movie.
yeah, there is a part of you that kind of goes, okay, a Star Fox movie with this sort of aesthetic probably would be kind of cool.
Probably not gonna do it.
Yeah, and they do sort of mention that yeah, he's technically not from this universe. He's from somewhere else and stuff, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's a part of you that kind of goes like, yeah, it's cool. I would like to see more Star Fox, I guess. But then in the back of your mind, you kind of just go, they only really did this because the producers really want like some sort of Nintendo cinematic universe going on here, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, we already have Zelda. I forget if that comes out next year or something.
Something like that.
I mean, this like we talk about this movie being not very good, but like it's gonna make money. They're gonna make a third one. What it's gonna be called? Probably Odyssey, because that's the only other title I can think of for a Super Mario Brothers 3 movie besides calling it Super Mario Brothers 3. You know?
Yeah, no, I remember when I first saw all the like I didn't read into the reviews, but I saw a lot of people being like it's not as good. I'm like, wow, Super Mario Galaxy, the second Super Mario movie is gonna be just like the second Mario game.
Well, to be fair, the second Mario game wasn't even technically the second Mario game. It was like some reskin other game, and then the real Mario 2 is Mario the Lost Levels. So, I mean, if you want to talk about the true sequel, obviously Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, gosh, I don't really know where we would go with the story at this point. I think, because I mentioned before that when we were talking about like, all right, what could they potentially do for a sequel before we learned about the Galaxy stuff, right? We're like, oh, what if it's Bowser Jr. and the Koopa Kids breaking out their dad and kidnapping Peach, and it's Mario and Luigi going to save the princess like a typical Mario adventure. Maybe they meet Daisy, on the way there, and she helps out because we need that girl power stuff too. And from Peach's angle, we learn that Bowser's not that good of a dad, and what he really needs is somebody. Like half the reason he's kidnapping Peach because he wants someone to take care of his kids because he has so many goddamn kids or whatever.
Because he's such a bad dad.
Yeah, stuff like that. Where
Really
I'm like,
emphasize that he's a villain because he wants a woman to deal with all the motherly issues.
living in the patriarchy, right?
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, like one of those like in my brain, I'm like, that seems like a pretty solid way of doing a sequel.
Hmm.
And then yeah, throwing Yoshi in there too, and like all this sort of stuff, right? And obviously Galaxy gets announced, and I'm like, okay, so I guess they're not doing that. But I mean, it's interesting, Galaxy, right? That's cool, well, and stuff, and ultimately kind of just, and I was mentioning this earlier when we were talking about it on the way back, and I feel like you were sort of just going like, I was trying to sort of talk about how the movie kind of by doing Galaxy, it set themselves up for failure in terms of just
Yeah.
forcing them to do too much,
Hmm.
right? Because in my brain, I kind of just went like half the reason I think why they have Star Fox in this movie in the first place, it's like, well, if we're doing Galaxy, that means they're gonna be in space. Wouldn't it be neat to have Star Fox here in space? And it's like, how does that fucking make sense? Yeah, how does that make sense? Right? That sort of this a lot of these sort of things, right? Of
Yeah.
like in my brain, like they kind of overcomplicated themselves, and that maybe that's why the pacing feels so off because they're just doing so many things. Like you already have Yoshi here, and like all this other stuff. You're introducing Bowser Jr. and this is all about Galaxy, so you have to include Rosalina because if you're doing a Mario Galaxy movie and she's not in it, then what's the point, right? So it's a whole bunch of like it feels like just a whole bunch of throwing a bunch of ingredients into the pot, stirring it, and hoping it tastes good, and it ultimately is like, right?
No, yeah, I agree. Like I'm looking through some details and stuff, but yeah, no. Um, honestly, I don't think this is the worst movie ever. Like I've seen a lot of people talk about. I think it's just kind of not the best. It could, I mean, it could be a lot worse, but it is how it is. But I feel like people will like trash it a lot more because it's a kids movie, but also because it's a Mario movie.
And also because it's Nintendo,
Nintendo, yeah,
right? Like you just not,
animated too.
it's not like I'm not trying to say that like people have a like a rage against Nintendo. I mean, people obviously have like bad feelings about it, and there's a lot of people that sort of bash Nintendo products.
For good reason.
I mean, obviously there's good reason to, right? Like, I'm not saying Nintendo is without fault or anything, because that's a little, like
Yeah.
a little too much for me.
Hmm.
But there are some people that just take it a little bit too far. If anything, the people that really should be sort of going like, haha, our movie is better, or our movies are better and stuff, is Sonic fans.
Oh yeah, right.
I think I mentioned this on the way back. I'm like, I can't believe the phrase has come back, but Sega does what Nintendo don't.
You
Make
don't.
make good video game movies. I mean, again, I mean,
Yeah, and like I remember hearing people saying like the difference between is that Sonic, you have people who care about the product. Mario, you don't really have that much, and I'm like, I'm not willing to go that far.
no, there's like given the level of details and the references in both of these movies, like obviously Illumination cares about the Mario property,
Yeah.
and granted, half of that is also because Miyamoto is like a producer on these things, and he
Mm.
sort of kind of gets last say on a lot of things. So
Mhm.
he's like hyper analyzing everything and making sure it looks right, that sort of thing. That's kind of what he does in these movies.
And he does do a good job because this is one like, yeah, this feels right. This feels right for a Mario game. Like especially when we're talking about Galaxy because I remember playing that game. Uh, but and also again the music is also probably a lot. Is the one thing I'll give the Mario movies is that they actually do use like the actual music in the games.
Yeah, I mean, like the Sonic movies have like music references, but really it's only like
Leitmotifs.
leitmotifs. I mean, Live and Learn is probably the big one. I mean, you can't make a movie without doing the Shadow storyline without Live and Learn.
Yeah, you
So,
get
so
to.
they did a good job on that front.
Yeah.
So, but overall for the rest of the Sonic
Yeah.
movies, like not a whole lot.
Not a whole. I mean, like we're not saying Sonic movies are bad, but they're like a lot better. Yes, but that's mostly
They
because
have
like
more cohesive narrative
exactly.
compared to these Mario
Yeah.
movies.
And you said this on the way back. The thing that about the Sega guys, what they learned is that nobody had to listen to these fans because if not, they're not gonna like it. One, they're not gonna like our movie. They're also not gonna support it. Because how many people backlashed over the sonic design of that first movie?
Yeah, the initial design and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like just the fact that they had to go back and rechange it, and there's some people that are like, oh, it was bad on purpose, it was just a real. It's like no, 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 no,
No.
no. It was
You don't bankrupt a studio just to fix it. Just do this plan.
just for a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like see, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, yeah, the Super Mario Galaxy is the movie, not the game. The game is good. The movie is disappointing. It's just there's not to say there was a lot of potential, I guess, or it's more like you saw like what the movie could have been probably, and you're kind of just like, why is it not like this?
Yeah. So what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it like a 5 out of 10.
Really?
I think part of it is just
and just to clarify for you, a 5 out of 10 is just kind of mid.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like whenever I say 5 out of 10, it's mid because I feel like so many people kind of go 7 as mid, which I'm like, no, 7 is like 70%. That's like it did a lot. Like in my brain, I kind of always go like, if it's mid, it has to be like 50% at least, because like I feel like we oftentimes, and I think I always talk about this whenever I have to score something this low. Um, like when we talk about movies, everybody just goes 8, 9s, or 10s of like, oh, it's good. It's like, well, no, you got to reserve 10s for like really good, awesome movies that I'm gonna watch this again and again and again. And 8, 9s are like good movies or great movies. 7's like, okay, that was good, that was solid. Maybe I'll watch this again. 5 is like, this is mid. There's so much more room for growth. This could have been so much better, and that's how I feel about it. Like like the fact that we were talking about how one scene could have helped give the movie more emotional weight to the characters and stuff, and like, and just it doesn't do that. Like, and us being able to like fix that like that in our brains, it's just like, how did the writers not do that? That to me has to like, at least give it a 5.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because I was kind of giving. I was being honest. I was gonna give it a 6.
Which is fine. Yeah, that's still, it's in the realm of like,
because like I can't even remember how good the first one was. I remember how good the first one is, but I don't remember like rating I gave it for that one. So I'm kind of giving it like a 6 because I'm pretty sure if that was probably a 7, it'd be a 6 for this one. Yeah, it made the first one look a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, I'll look for. I'll see a third one when it comes out. Uh, I'm not saying I'm gonna like go rush to it, but I'm like, oh, I mean, I'll see how that plan plays out. But if you're able to do something better with it, because let's be honest, the only other thing we could probably do is Daisy.
Yeah, like in my brain, there's like, I mean, Pauline was in the first one, but not a whole lot.
No, she fills her current role in the games in that movie. She's the mayor.
Yeah, so like it does make me wonder how, if anything, they can do a sequel and like what else they can do. You know, but I mean, it's just they'll figure something out. I mean,
just make sure the story's good, guys, please. Just like, come on. But anyways, that's the end of the episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to follow us on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can find a link to the podcast. Since we're officially part of like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all the like, and a YouTube link to all you audio listeners out there who want to put a face to the voice. Be sure to like and subscribe, and a Patreon for more support. Yeah, so it was a little alright. It was alright. Could have been better.
Yeah, definitely could have been better. It's just disappointing, and I think that's part of the reason why so many people are having such visceral reactions. It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
You expect more, I guess.
Expect more, yeah. Anyways, me and your boy Eli.
Me, Joe.
Guess have a good one. Peace.